Hi, I'm Shaynel, and welcome to Shaynel's 3 Cents. This is a show where we have a lot of fun. We talk about finances, we talk about health and wellness, and we also talk about relationships. And because most people give you this information on their 2 cents, I'm a little extra. I'm gonna give you 3. Special guest today on my show, someone that I love extremely to my heart, who's near and dear. His name is Mr. Sam Caldwell.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. Love you too.
Look, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm really getting excited because this is my mentor. This is awesome gentleman, led me on a path to completing high school and to completing a couple of different college degrees and getting to an awesome career. But through everything he's done, he's always had a profound effect on impacting youth. So we're really focused on what's going on with women in the country and how we can uplift young ladies. And so if you can tell our viewers a little bit about the work that you've done working with young women, I'm sure they'd be excited to hear it.
Well, I've been coaching now since 1994 here in Prince George's County. Started out at Bladensburg High School. I used to coach boys, and I was on the men's side. Been coaching girls for a long time now, obviously. I'm the athletic director and head varsity girls basketball coach at New Hope Academy. And, the young ladies are always near and dear to my heart because I have 3 daughters of my own, 3 nieces of your own. And so obviously opportunities for the boys is one thing. Opportunities for girls has always been another thing. And so I just wanted to, to take some of my experiences, what I've learned, and be able to partake that into some of our young ladies. And it's been a really, really fulfilling journey.
Okay. Can you tell us the primary difference that you've been able to see between the difference between coaching young men versus coaching young girls?
Yeah, I don't cuss as much at the girls as I do at the boys.
I think that's the video.
It's girls are much different than guys. Girls play differently than guys. Girls are more cerebral than the boys are. The game is what I would consider much more pure in terms of execution and stuff like that. And girls sometimes don't rely on their God-given talent, to do certain things on the floor. So I really love, obviously, women's basketball. And, so I'm not just a coach of it. I am a fan of it.
Okay. One of the things that I recall, and something that always kind of stuck with me in going to your games throughout your career, is watching that the women's games aren't always as well attended as the young boys teams. Are there anything that your school or you guys are doing differently to try to bring more people out or to try to draw more attention to young women's sports?
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason for that is there's been a disparity in terms of talent. So, a lot of times you have really good girls teams playing a team that's still developing or young, and you have these 30, 40, 50 point blowouts. Mm-hmm. And so that's why sometimes those games are not so well attended. We've been privileged that we try to find the toughest games that we can find, and our games are pretty well attended because a lot of those girls are getting ready for college. I mean, they're going to play at the next level, and those are the games that we try to match up to, to play, to really play the games that people want to see, and not play games where it's a pit bull versus a cat. So,
Okay.
but it is that way. I think the game is developing, and that's why we teach skill development stuff at the younger ages. We got to get better at the grassroots, so that as these young ladies matriculate up, they'll have, more skill and stuff like that. And then I think you'll see that disparity and talent gap, begin to close.
Okay. Well, speaking of matriculating up, I happen to know from personal experience, being your sister, that a lot of the young ladies that come through your program often end up in college. And I do also believe you have a couple of young ladies that are in the WNBA. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had the pleasure when I was at Riverdale Baptist to be able to coach Jonquil Jones, who plays for the Connecticut Sun. She's a terrific player, obviously, one of the best. And it pulls at my heart every time I see her play. And, just love the way, Diane Richardson was the head coach at the time at Riverdale Baptist under her, and just how much she poured into Jonquel as well. It's just been fantastic. And but yes, Jonquel was there. Jenny Sims, who also played on that same high school team with Jonquel, which is amazing that we had two WNBA players on our high school team. Jenny Sims, she played for the Indiana Fever and the Mystics, and now she's playing overseas as well, so she's playing pro ball. I did not coach Tiana Hawkins, but Tiana Hawkins did go to Riverdale Baptist as well, and she still plays for the Washington Mystics.
Okay, awesome.
And I'm sorry, I forgot one more. Chloe Jackson, and our girl Chloe Jackson, who plays for the Chicago Sky.
Right.
Yep. So.
One of the things that, one of the topics that's still trending right now is, of course, salary disparity between the men's teams and the women's teams. I also think some of that has a lot of reflection to do with looking at the crowds. If you can get enough of people to come to the game, what do you see as the primary differences between that? And do you recommend that, the women be paid the same as the men if they can't get the same sponsorships or endorsements?
Well, there's definitely a pay gap. I mean, obviously the men's game is their season is a lot longer. There's some deeply rooted, politics in that, in way that the NBA is structured, obviously, and the way that the WNBA is structured. Obviously, the women should be paid more. Hopefully, they'll be able to figure it out with some of the licensing stuff they have going on. And all of that. But it's the one thing that's been perplexing to me is like professional basketball for women overseas has been going on for ever.
Right.
And they get paid more overseas. I mean, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars more overseas. So I don't know why, the smartest, the richest, the most talent, why we can't get that figured out. But clearly, a young lady coming out of college and having a stellar college career gets drafted in the WNBA and makes $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, where she could have just went on and become a nurse and make $100,000 a year. I mean, it's a difference. I mean, one is a career.
And her to follow her passion.
Yeah, but not in your passion. And so I hope that they can get that figured out, because the ladies put in the time. They absolutely deserve it. And, we'll see. But I'm praying that they make some progress on that.
Okay. I was really excited also to see that with some of the recent sporting events that Nike's starting to sponsor a lot more of these women athletes. So they're also starting to get some more exposure to show how effective women are in sports and how dominating they can be and as effective competitors as such.
Absolutely, which is, again, one of the reasons why this became my basketball ministry, to try to help grow the women's game and make a greater impact. And, in my small way, I feel like that's what we're doing.
Okay. Now, how do you find your students? I understand New Hope is a private school. How do you find the athletes that play for your teams?
Well, as you know, God has been really, really good because we're the number one team in the country. And when you're the number one in the team in the country, people find you. You don't have to go looking for them all the time. So, and we consider that a big time blessing that, we've developed a brand, and that brand is strong, and that folks want to be a part of it. And so, everything that we do, we want to be professional. We always share with my coaches about professionalizing the organization, and that we do everything in excellency, and we don't make it, there's no apology for wanting to be number one. Like, we want to be the best. We're going to train like the best. We're going to practice the best. We want to dress the best. We want to walk the best. We want to travel the best. I mean, and that's just the way it is. And, fortunately for you, you got to watch me grow up.
I don't.
And so,
Fortunate.
yeah, it was very fortunate for you.